Welcome back to Professor DC. Today we're diving deep into one of Shakespeare's most thrilling plays, Macbeth. Let's delve into Act 1, Scene 2 of Macbeth, where, my friend, you will be introduced to the aftermath of a battle and the valor of Macbeth. This scene sets the stage for the play's themes of ambition, loyalty, and the consequences of betrayal. Let's recap Act 1, Scene 1 at once before we move on to Act 1, Scene 2. The play opens with three witches meeting on a desolate heath amidst thunder and lightning. They speak of their intention to meet Macbeth after a great battle, setting an eerie and ominous tone for the play. Their chant, "Fair is foul and foul is fair," hints at the upcoming moral confusion and the blurring of good and evil. Now let's move on to Act 1, Scene 2. Let's go through the key characters in Scene 2. King Duncan. He is the King of Scotland, a kind and noble ruler who values loyalty and bravery. He is concerned about the ongoing battles and the safety of his kingdom. Malcolm is Duncan's elder son, who is also present in this scene. He listens to the captain's report and is actively involved in discussing the battle's outcome. Sergeant is a wounded soldier who brings news of the battle to King Duncan. He provides a detailed account of the fierce fighting and praises Macbeth's bravery. Ross is a nobleman of Scotland who arrives later in the scene with additional news about the battle and the fate of the Thane of Cawdor. Thane of Cawdor is a Scottish nobleman who betrayed King Duncan by siding with the Norwegian forces. Though he does not appear in this scene, his actions are central to the events discussed. Macbeth. Mentioned in this scene, he is one of Duncan's most valiant generals. Although he doesn't appear in this scene, his bravery and the victory he secured for Scotland praised by the characters. Setting of this scene. The scene takes place at a military camp near the battlefield, emphasizing the ongoing conflict and the tense atmosphere in Scotland. Key points to understand before the scene. Scotland is at war, both with internal rebels led by the traitorous Macdonald and external forces from Norway. The battle's outcome is uncertain, which adds to the anxiety of the characters, especially King Duncan. This scene serves to highlight the theme of loyalty versus betrayal, which is a crucial part of the play's larger narrative. This should give you the necessary context to understand Act 1, Scene 2. Overview. The scene takes place in a camp near the battlefield. King Duncan, his sons Malcolm and Donalbain, and a few nobles gather to hear reports about the battle that has just occurred. They learn about the fierce fighting and Macbeth's bravery. The scene ends with Duncan ordering the execution of the traitorous Thane of Cawdor and giving his title to Macbeth. I am going to explain this act in very simple words first. If you are interested in line-by-line explanation, you can stay tuned in. Here's the simplified explanation of Act 1, Scene 2. In this scene, King Duncan, his sons Malcolm and Donalbain, and several nobles are gathered at a camp near the battlefield, anxiously awaiting news about the battle against a rebellion led by Macdonald and an invasion by the Norwegian king. A wounded captain arrives and describes how the battle was fierce and uncertain, but Macbeth fought bravely and killed the traitor Macdonald. Just when the Scots thought they were winning, the Norwegian king launched a fresh attack. However, Macbeth and Bung fought back with great courage and secured a victory for Scotland. Soon after, another nobleman, Ross, arrives with more news. He reports that the Norwegian king begged for peace, which the Scots agreed to only after being paid a ransom. Ross also reveals that the Thane of Cawdor, who had betrayed Scotland by siding with the Norwegians, will be executed. King Duncan decides to reward Macbeth for his bravery by giving him the title of Thane of Cawdor. This scene highlights Macbeth's heroism and introduces the theme of loyalty and betrayal, setting the stage for his rise in power. That is the simplified explanation of Act 1, Scene 2. Let us dissect the play and understand it line by line. Line by line explanation. Duncan. What bloody man is that, he can report? as seemeth by his plight of the revolt, the newest state. Explanation. Duncan notices a wounded soldier approaching. Seeing his blood-stained appearance, Duncan assumes this man can provide the latest news on the rebellion. Malcolm. This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend. Say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it. Explanation. Malcolm recognizes the sergeant and praises him for his bravery. This soldier fought to protect Malcolm from being captured in the battle. Malcolm asks him to inform the king about the battle's developments. Captain. Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke there art the merciless Macdonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him from the western isles, of kerns and gallowglasses is supplied, and fortune on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion carved out his passage, till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements. Explanation. The captain begins by describing how the battle was initially uncertain, comparing it to two exhausted swimmers clinging to each other, making it difficult for either to stay afloat. He describes the enemy, Macdonald, a traitor who has gathered a force of soldiers from the Western Isles. Fortune initially favored Macdonald, as if she were a traitor's mistress. But despite this, Macbeth fought bravely, not caring about the odds. Macbeth's sword was so effective in battle that it seemed to steam with the heat of slaughter. He fought his way through the enemy ranks until he reached Macdonald, whom he killed by slicing him from the navel to the jaw, and then placing his head on the castle's walls as a trophy. Duncan. O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman. Explanation. King Duncan praises Macbeth, calling him both brave and a worthy relative. Captain. As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valor armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault. Explanation. The captain continues his report using a metaphor. Just as the rising sun can bring both hope and destructive storms, the moment they thought they were victorious, new danger emerged. They had just forced Macdonald's forces to retreat when the Norwegian king saw an opportunity. He attacked with fresh troops and well-prepared soldiers. Duncan. Dismayed not this, our captains Macbeth and Banquo? Explanation. Duncan asks if this sudden attack frightened or demoralized Macbeth and Banquo, his other general. Captain. Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint, my gaseous cry for help. Explanation. The captain responds sarcastically, saying that the attack dismayed Macbeth and Banquo as much as a sparrow would scare an eagle or a hare would scare a lion. That is, not at all. He continues by saying that Macbeth and Banquo fought with fierce energy, that it was like cannons firing with double the gunpowder. They kept striking the enemy so furiously that it seemed as if they wanted to bathe in blood or create a battlefield as gruesome as Golgotha. The captain then admits that he is weak from his wounds and needs medical attention. Duncan. So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go get him, surgeons. Explanation. Duncan commends the captain for his honorable words and bravery, saying that both his speech and his wounds reflect his honor. He then orders the soldiers to get a surgeon to help the captain. Enter Ross. Who comes here? Explanation. As Ross enters the scene, Duncan asks who he is. Malcolm, the worthy Thane of Ross. Explanation. Malcolm identifies the new arrival as Ross, the Thane of Ross. Lennox, what a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look? That seems to speak things strange. Explanation. Lennox, another nobleman, observes that Ross appears to be in a hurry and suggests that he likely has strange or important news to report. God save the king. Explanation. Ross greets King Duncan with a traditional salutation wishing him long life. Duncan, whence camest thou, worthy Thane? Explanation. Duncan asks Ross where he has come from. From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold Norway himself. With terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us. Explanation. Ross reports that he has come from Fife, where the Norwegian army was flying its banners, making the Scottish people tremble in fear. The King of Norway with a large army had been assisted by the traitorous Thane of Cawdor. They waged a fierce battle until Macbeth, whom Ross poetically calls the husband of Bellona, the goddess of war, fully armed in his armor, confronted the Norwegian king. They fought head to head, matching each other's strength and skill. Eventually, Macbeth was able to overpower the enemy, and the Scots claimed victory. Duncan, great happiness. Explanation. Duncan expresses his joy and relief upon hearing the news of the victory. That now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he disbursed at St. Combs Inch $10,000 to our general use. Explanation. Ross explains that King Sweno of Norway, after being defeated, now seeks peace and is willing to negotiate. However, the Scots refused to allow the Norwegians to bury their dead soldiers until Sweno paid a large sum of $10,000 to the Scottish forces. No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth. Explanation. Duncan declares that the Thane of Cawdor, who betrayed him, will no longer be a threat. He orders that Cawdor be executed immediately and instructs Ross to give Cawdor's title to Macbeth as a reward for his bravery. I'll see it done. Explanation. Ross agrees to carry out Duncan's orders. Duncan, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won. Explanation. Duncan concludes the scene by stating that what the Thane of Cawdor has lost, his title and honor, Macbeth has gained. This scene is crucial as it not only showcases Macbeth's valor and loyalty, but also foreshadows his rise in power, setting the stage for the tragic events that will unfold. The language used by Shakespeare, though poetic and rich, is meant to highlight the intensity of battle and the consequences of treachery. Here are some multiple-choice questions based on Act 1, Scene 2 of Macbeth that might be asked in an exam. Put your answers to the questions in the comments, and if you get them all right, your comment will be pinned. 1. What title does Macbeth receive after the battle? A King of Scotland? B. Thane of Cawdor? C. Thane of Fife? D. Prince of Cumberland? 2. Who reports Macbeth's bravery on the battlefield to King Duncan? Lennox? B. Ross? C. the captain, or Banquo? 3. Whom does King Duncan order to be executed for treason? A hat. B. Banquo. C. the Thane of Cawdor? Macdonald? 4. What does the sergeant compare the battle to in his report? A storm. A bloody feast. We'll see. Day forest fire. 5. Who is declared heir to the Scottish throne by Duncan? Macbeth. Banquo. C. Malcolm. Donalbain? That's it for today. If you found this breakdown of Act 1, Scene 2 of Macbeth helpful, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more literature analysis. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself and bye for now.